This ICP-1 was to improve the UX of the search recipe application. The newly made changes to this application are only search recipe tab is remained and all the other tabs are removed. And apart from that, Near Me button is added. The user can search for all the restaurants near him by clicking on the Near Me button. To search for specific restaurants that are serving a specific item, the user can search for that item and click on Near Me. This lists all the restaurants serving that specific item. This is all about the ICP-1. Now let's look into the code of this ICP. Starting with app.module, only app component, header component and search recipe component are retained and all the remaining components are removed. Moving on to app routing module, only a search recipe part directs to search recipe component and even default null part directs to search recipe component, since we have only that page in that application now. Moving on to header component HTML, all the remaining navigation links are removed and only search recipe is retained. Now let's move into search recipe HTML and component. In the search recipe component HTML, we added a new button Near Me, and on a click of this button, getInit function will be invoked. Now let's see the code of the getInit function. In the getInit function, we initially fetch the value whether the user has entered any specific item that should be searched, and if that is stored in this .recipe value. If that item is equal to null, we filter the search with food, anything that matches food. And then we generate a HTTP API request, Foursquare API request, with the location LL as current latitude, current longitude, and query it with food if no specific item is searched, or with the specific item. The current latitude and longitude retrieval code is written over here, and the response is displayed in the div element. This is all about the ICP-1. Let's have the demo of the second ICP. Using this application, user can translate text from one language to another language. Let me translate text from German to English. From language is given as German. To language is given as English. The text that should be translated can be entered over here. And by clicking on translate button, the translated text will be shown in this text area. Now let's look into the code of this application. In the HTML file, we have a select list that displays the from language, and select list to display the to language, and a button, translate button, and get text will be invoked on the click of that button. We have two text areas. First text area has the text that should be translated, and the translated text will be shown on the second text area. Now let's look into the component code. On the click of the button, getText function will be invoked, and in the getText function, we retrieve the from language, we retrieve the to language, and we append from language with to language so that we can pass it to in the request call, and we even fetch the text that should be translated. HTTP request is generated using the API key that has been created, and the text that should be translated, and the language from which language to which language it should be translated is given, and the response is displayed in the translated text area.